Hi, and welcome to Next Edge Tutorials. In this lesson today, I will be showing you 3 entries that you can use into your spins. So let's get spinning. So spinning is a huge part of figure skating. Not only is it beautiful, there's no other sport like it. So today I'm going to be showing you 3 different entries that you can use in your next program or just practice. So let's get started. So the first entry that we're going to be looking at is from the back crossover. Now, where do you predominantly see this is when you begin to learn to spin. So we learn it from the back crossover, step forward, and we learn it in an upright or a camel or a sit. So I'm going to demonstrate it what it looks like. So we're going to go pull up, and here's the back crossover. And then we step forward, we wait on that outside edge, and then I'm just going to pull it into a nice upright spin and nice exit out. So when you start spinning, this is the first entry that you tend to learn. So I'm going to show it to you one more time so you can really grasp the entry. So we pull up, here's that push under, here's my step forward, my spin, and exit out. Now, I just want to go over a common mistake that some people tend to forget about when using this entry. So they do this beautiful crossover here and they do the push under. Then they forget to press this outside edge and then pull up into the spin. They tend to go more flat when they step forward, and then it creates a travel. So I'm going to show you the mistake. So they'll go push under, then they step forward, and then they try to spin. And as you can see, I couldn't snap up into a nice fast spin because I had no edge work. I had no pressure that allowed that pressure to 3-turn into the spin. So that's where the mistake tends to happen when using this entry. So I know what you were thinking, gosh, that entry is kind of boring, but let me show you how you can jazz it up with some arms. So I'm going to go pull up, and I'm going to go 1, 2. Then I'm going to push forward, nice fast spin, and then exit out with some arms. Do you see how I changed the look of that entry just by adding my arms? Now, remember, you don't have to do jazzy arms. You can do soft arms pulling up where you use your body a bit more, that down and up, and then push under and stretch. And you can get more angles going on with the torso leaning or going to the side, just to really make it nice and challenging for yourself. All right, the second entry that I'm going to be showing you today is the forward inside 3-turn. This is something that you will use if you need to quickly get into a spin in your program. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. So I'm going to pull up, I have my right foot in front, and I'm going to do a right forward inside 3-turn, press the edge, and spin, and out. As you can see, it doesn't take as much time as that first entry from the back crossover, and that's why this entry is used quite a bit in programs. It's a quick way to get into a spin. So I'm going to show it to you one more time, and I'm really going to emphasize the nice push and that pressure on that left foot into that spin. So I'm going to go inside 3-turn. Now here's the pressure, and then into the spin. As you can see, I'm always focusing on that left forward outside edge into the spin. Okay, now it's time to talk about a common mistake that will happen in this entry. The first thing is too shallow of a 3-turn. So you might push and you do a 3-turn, you're settled on that edge, and then you step forward, and then again, no pressure on that outside edge into the spin. So that's a really big common mistake, not using the edge properly into that inside 3-turn. So that's something that you need to focus on while using this entry. Now it's time to jazz up this entry, and I'm going to use soft and beautiful arms. So I'm just going to back up just a little bit. I'm going to pull my arms up over my head on that inside 3-turn. So I'm going to go inside 3-turn, stretch. Then I'm gonna bend down with my body and then pull it up into a fast spin and hold. Now, again, you can use any arms that you want to. This is just to give you an idea. But as you notice, probably before I step forward for that spin, I used a little bit of body movement into that spin. And that's really nice just to change up that standard look of an inside 3-turn, is really getting that body engaged in that inside 3-turn when you feel very, very secure. Now, the third and final entry is going to be from an inside edge 3-turn and pull it up into a back spin. I'm just gonna do a standard back spin position, but again, from this one, you can do a back camel, you can do a back sit. So let's take a look at it. So I'm going to back up just a little bit. I'm going to do actually a left forward inside to a right forward inside, just to give me a bit more power and speed. So I'm gonna go push, hold. Now here's my press, and then pull it up, and then I can pull it into my spin. Now, what we tend to use this entry for is for our back spin. That is something that all skaters tend to warm up with. It's because it's the standard position for our jumps. So that's what we want to really get strong and use in our everyday warm up, is that back spin position. So we will tend to see this entry a lot for our warm up. Okay, now we're gonna take a look at this entry one more time. So again, I'm pushing from a left forward inside edge just to give me a little bit more edge quality, then press on that right inside edge, let it 3-turn, pull up, back spin, and up and out. Now, I want you to focus on those 2 forward inside edges. It's so important that we have beautiful, strong edges going in, because when it's more flat, that's when the common mistake comes in. Let's come down to my feet. We're gonna take a look at just those 2 inside edges right here. So I'm gonna do a left inside edge here, which then I rebend and push on that right inside edge. When you have a nice deep inside edge, it helps flick that turn into the back spin. And this is where skaters go wrong. They do it too flat. So now I'm gonna show you that big common mistake that skaters tend to do, which then they go, oh, Stacy, I can't get into that back spin. And it's because of that forward inside edge. So I'm gonna show you the mistake. So they might do a nice left inside edge here, then they push straight, and then they try to pull in for a spin. And you can see I am struggling to get into that backspin because it's off of a straight line. So all you have to focus on is pressing that right inside edge in a bit deeper to create that spin. Now we're gonna take a look at our upper body and adding some soft arms to this entry. So I'm gonna take a push and I'm gonna bring my arms through and hold. Then I'm gonna bring them in and I'm gonna push away and then into that backspin position. Sometimes when we use our arms, it helps give us that little bit of rhythm. Press and then into our backspin. So don't be afraid to use your arms while using this entry. All right, so those are our 3 basic entries into spins. Now I know what you're thinking, only those 3? No. So we actually have a whole nother category of difficult entries into spins, but it's about getting those entries that I showed you today very strong, confident, and that way when you do decide, oh, I want to add more difficult, you're able to do that. So get working on those basic entries into spins and then add more difficult. Thanks for watching Next Edge Tutorials and looking forward to seeing you in our next lesson.